All right, so are you ready to learn about what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur?
I am.
So today we're going to be looking at the eagle entrepreneur.
Okay.
This book uses the eagle as a model for how to be successful in the business world.
Interesting.
And I know what you're thinking.
Okay.
Eagle, what does that even have to do with business?
Right.
But trust me,
Okay.
this book is about a lot more than just like copying how eagles hunt.
Okay.
We're going to be talking about how an eagle's survival strategies can teach us a lot about how to deal with all the ups and downs of running a business.
Like it.
You might even find your own inner eagle by the end of this deep dive.
Well, let's hope so.
So what's really cool about this book is
What?
it goes way deeper than just saying, oh, be strong like an eagle or, have really good vision like an eagle.
Yeah.
It's really about like getting into the mind of an eagle and understanding that resilience and strategic thinking that help them survive in like really, really tough situations.
Yeah, and let's be honest, the business world is pretty tough.
Right.
Sometimes it feels like survival of the fittest out there.
So true. So let's jump into the first big takeaway from the book.
Okay.
Strength and resilience.
I like it.
The book really pushes the idea that in business, real strength, it isn't about just like overpowering the competition.
No, definitely not.
It's more about being able to handle those tough times, the setbacks, and actually using those to become even stronger.
Right. It's like being able to weather the storm
Exactly.
and bounce back even stronger.
Yeah.
Think about how eagles use headwinds
Headwinds.
to fly higher.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, as an entrepreneur, you can do the same thing,
Okay.
like disruptive technologies or, unexpected shifts in the market.
Yeah, that's going to be scary.
They can be.
Mm.
But the book argues that these can actually help move your business forward
Yeah.
if you learn how to use them to your advantage.
So, like use them as fuel.
Exactly.
Mm.
Like, remember when Netflix switched from DVDs to streaming?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they could have just stuck with the old way of doing things, but
Yeah.
instead, they embraced those changes in technology, and look at them now.
Yeah, they're killing it.
Right.
So that's a perfect example.
It really shows you how powerful adapting can be.
For sure. The book also talks about how eagles face all sorts of challenges like injuries, storms, even like running out of food,
Wow.
but they still always find a way to recover.
That's incredible.
Kind of like how entrepreneurs deal with things like market crashes, economic downturns, or even like a really bad product launch.
Oh, yeah. We've all been there.
Right.
It's all part of the journey.
So it's about having that like mental toughness to get through those challenges, right?
Exactly. It's about not giving up.
Not giving up.
Even when things get really tough.
Yeah.
Imagine like an eagle with a broken wing.
Oh, wow.
It's not going to just give up. It's going to find a way to adapt, to change how it flies, to heal, and eventually it's going to soar again.
Wow. That's a powerful image.
And that's exactly what successful entrepreneurs do.
They adapt.
They find a way to make it through those tough times. They learn from their mistakes, and they come out even stronger on the other side.
So important. Okay, so this brings us to another important concept.
What's that?
Vision.
Oh, yeah.
The book makes a really strong connection between an eagle's crazy sharp vision.
Being able to see their prey from miles away.
Right.
That's incredible.
Like spotting a tiny little mouse from way up high.
Yeah,
And an entrepreneur's need to have a really clear and focused vision for their business.
that makes sense.
It's about being able to see the bigger picture
Right.
and not getting lost in the day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, it's about having that long-term perspective.
And that vision, it's a lot more than just spotting a quick opportunity.
Yeah, it's deeper than that.
It's about understanding the purpose of your business, why you're doing what you're doing.
Right.
And that should guide all of your decisions and inspire your team.
Like your North Star,
It's like your North Star. I love that.
guiding you towards your ultimate goal.
Okay, so let's get practical for a second.
Yeah.
The book really hammers this point home.
Okay.
Imagine you're that eagle soaring high above everything.
Okay. I'm imagining it.
You wouldn't just dive down randomly, would you?
No, definitely not.
You'd have a specific target in mind.
Right.
So what we want you to do right now is really visualize what success looks like for you.
Like really picture it.
Yeah, like 5 years from now, what is your ideal outcome?
Okay.
What's that target you're aiming for?
I like that exercise.
It's important to have that clear picture in mind.
Right, because once you've got that vision locked in,
Yeah.
the next challenge is staying focused,
Ugh, tell me about it.
which, let's be real, can be really tough in today's world.
Yeah, it's so easy to get distracted. Like
Right.
there's so much information coming at us all the time.
New trends popping up constantly.
Shiny objects everywhere you look.
Yeah, it's like a constant battle for our attention.
The book compares this to an eagle staying focused on its prey, even with all sorts of distractions going on around it.
That's a good analogy.
There might be other birds flying around, tempting movements down below.
Right.
But the eagle keeps its eyes on the prize.
Laser focus.
Laser focus. So how do we do that?
How do we stay focused like an eagle?
Yeah.
Well, that's where discipline comes in.
Discipline.
It's about making your goals your top priority
Okay.
and resisting that urge to chase after every single opportunity that comes your way.
That's so hard.
It is. But sometimes saying no is just as important as saying yes.
So true.
For example, remember when Steve Jobs went back to Apple in the late 90s?
Oh, yeah.
They were practically bankrupt back then.
Yeah.
They were producing like 1 million different products.
It was confusing.
It was a mess. So what did he do?
What?
He drastically cut down the number of products they were making
Really?
and focused on just a few key areas. He said no to a lot of things
He said no.
so that they could say yes to what really mattered.
Interesting.
And well, we all know how that turned out.
Yeah, they became like the biggest company in the world.
Pretty much. It's a testament to the power of focus.
Yeah, it really shows how saying no can actually help you grow.
Sometimes you got to streamline to really succeed.
Okay, so speaking of strategic moves, let's talk about adaptability.
Oh yeah, this is a good one.
I love this part of the book
Why?
because it talks about how eagles change their hunting strategies depending on their environment.
That's smart.
Like sometimes their usual food sources disappear.
Oh no.
And they have to get creative.
They got to think outside the box.
Exactly. And that's such a good reminder for us that even the best business plan needs to be flexible.
Yeah, things change.
Things change constantly. Entrepreneurs need to be able to adapt to all sorts of things.
Like what?
Like changing markets, new technologies, changes in what customers want.
Right.
But the key is to stay flexible while also staying true to your core vision.
Right. Don't lose sight of your North Star.
Don't lose sight of your North Star. I love that. Okay, but how do we actually do that?
How do we balance adaptability with focus?
Yeah, because those seem kind of like opposite things.
It could be tricky.
Does the book give any advice on that?
It does.
Okay, what does it say?
It says that staying informed is super important
Informed about what?
about trends and technologies.
Okay, so like keeping up with what's new.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also being willing to pivot when you need to,
Pivot.
change direction,
Roger.
and using data to help you make those decisions.
Data.
Data.
It's all about the data.
So don't be afraid to change course if you need to, but make sure those changes are still moving you towards your overall goals.
Right.
It's like an eagle adjusting its flight path to account for the wind.
I like that.
It still gets to its destination, but it takes a different route.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so now for one of my favorite concepts from the book.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
Strategic patience.
Strategic patience.
Yeah, this is about a lot more than just waiting around.
Okay.
It's about knowing exactly when to take action.
I like that.
And this is where the whole eagle analogy really makes sense.
Okay, tell me more.
Think about how an eagle hunts.
It watches, analyzes, and then strikes at just the right moment.
Wow.
And that's what successful entrepreneurs need to do too.
They need to be strategic about their timing.
Exactly. Whether it's launching a product, entering a new market, or making a partnership, timing is everything.
So true.
It's about knowing when to go for it and when to hold back and wait for a better opportunity.
Makes sense.
This reminds me of the early days of Airbnb.
Oh, yeah.
They could have tried to launch in every city all at once.
Right.
But they didn't.
What did they do?
They were patient.
Patient.
They focused on building a really strong foundation in just a few key markets before they expanded. And it was that strategic patience that allowed them to grow so quickly and become like a global giant.
Yeah, they're everywhere now.
So it's a perfect example of how being patient can actually pay off big time.
It's not about being passive.
No.
It's about being really thoughtful and intentional with your actions.
Okay, so this next concept is a little bit more intense.
Oh, okay, I'm ready.
The book describes this fascinating but kind of gruesome process of how an eagle renews itself.
Renews itself. What does that even mean?
So as eagles get older, they go through this really tough period where they shed their old feathers and talons.
They shed their talons.
Yeah, and even parts of their beak.
Wow, that sounds painful.
It does sound painful, but they come out of it stronger and more capable than before.
Really?
It's like they're literally getting rid of everything that's holding them back.
Like a forced reinvention.
Exactly. And the book makes this really clever connection to the need for entrepreneurs to also step back and reflect.
Reflect on what?
on what's working, what's not working.
Okay.
And to be willing to let go of old strategies or even products that just aren't serving them anymore.
Yeah, but that can be so hard.
I know, it's tough.
Yeah.
We tend to get really attached to our ideas.
It's our babies.
Our babies. But this shedding process, as the book calls it, is actually really important for growth.
Okay, I see what you mean.
It allows you to make space for new ideas, new ways of doing things, new opportunities.
So it's like decluttering your business.
Exactly.
Getting rid of the things that are weighing you down.
Yeah. Remember Blockbuster?
Oh, yeah. What happened to them?
They were so attached to their physical stores that they completely missed the boat on how things were changing.
They didn't adapt.
They didn't adapt. They held on to their old feathers, so to speak.
Okay, I get it.
And it ultimately led to their downfall.
Yeah, they went extinct.
So it's a really powerful example of what can happen when you resist change.
Wow.
So I want to ask you a question.
Okay, shoot.
When was the last time you took a step back?
Like a strategic pause.
Yeah, to sharpen your talons, so to speak.
That's a good question.
It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day grind.
Yeah, you're just going.
But sometimes you need to get that eagle's eye view.
To see the bigger picture.
To assess your business and make those tough decisions about what to let go of.
Sometimes you need to shed some feathers to really fly.
Exactly. It's about stepping back and asking yourself some really honest questions. Like, are there any strategies or products that are actually holding me back?
Yeah.
Am I clinging to old ways of doing things that just aren't working anymore?
Those are tough questions.
They are, but they're essential for growth and renewal.
So it's about being honest with yourself.
Exactly. And being willing to make those tough decisions.
Even if it means letting go of something you've poured your heart and soul into.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta let go to move forward.
I like that. So are you ready to talk about nests?
Oh, yeah. The eagle's nest.
I'm fascinated by how they build those things.
They're incredible, right?
Massive and sturdy.
And the book uses this whole process of nest building as a metaphor for building a strong foundation for your business.
That's interesting.
Eagles are so careful about where they build their nests.
They are picky.
And they use really strong materials to create a structure that's designed to last for years and years.
Oh, they're like the master architects of the bird world.
They are. And for entrepreneurs, this translates to being really thoughtful about things like choosing your market, putting together a great team, securing resources, and of course, having that clear vision for the future of your business.
It's all connected.
It is. It's about making sure your business can weather any storm that comes its way.
Like building a fortress.
Exactly. And just like an eagle's nest, your business needs to be able to adapt and evolve as it grows.
Right, things are always changing.
As your business grows and the environment changes, you might need to add to your nest.
Make it bigger.
Reinforce certain areas or even relocate to a better spot.
Wow, so it's a constant process of building and improving.
It is. It's about being proactive and making sure your foundation is strong enough to support your future growth.
Makes sense. Okay, so now let's talk about something that trips up a lot of entrepreneurs.
What's that?
Distractions.
Yeah.
We talked about focus earlier.
Right, laser focus.
But the book points out that distractions are everywhere.
They're lurking around every corner.
Trying to grab our attention and pull us off track.
Yeah, it's like they're these little shiny objects that we just can't resist.
The book compares this to an eagle, avoiding the temptation to chase after small prey.
Oh, yeah.
Because that would distract it from its main goal.
It's about staying focused on the big picture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those small distractions might seem tempting in the moment.
Yeah, they can be alluring.
But ultimately, they just waste your time and energy.
They drain you.
And this brings us to some of the specific types of distractions that the book talks about.
Oh, okay.
The pitfalls that entrepreneurs often fall into.
I'm ready to hear about these pitfalls.
We'll be diving deeper into those in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, I can't wait.
Stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back. So we were just talking about all those distractions entrepreneurs face.
Oh, yeah, those shiny objects.
Exactly. And there's so many of them in the business world pulling us in different directions.
And threatening to totally derail our focus.
It can feel super overwhelming, trying to figure out what's really important.
Totally. What do we say yes to and what do we say no to?
So let's break down some of these common distractions that the book outlines.
Okay. Sounds good.
And I think we should start with what they call short-termism.
Short-termism.
This one really hit home for me.
Okay. I'm curious. Tell me more about it.
So short-termism is basically that trap of getting so caught up in the here and now.
The immediate stuff.
Yeah, that you end up neglecting the long-term health of your business.
Okay. I see what you mean.
It's like you're so busy putting out fires.
Yeah, just trying to survive.
That you forget to take steps to prevent those fires from happening in the first place.
So it's about thinking ahead.
Exactly.
Right.
Or to use a more, eagle-themed analogy.
Okay.
It's like that eagle that's constantly chasing after small prey.
Instead of going for the bigger catch.
Right, the one that will sustain it for much longer.
Okay, so I think I get it.
So we're talking about things like always chasing quick profits.
Okay.
Making decisions based on what's happening right now, instead of thinking about the bigger picture. Or even like cutting corners to save a little bit of money in the short term.
Yeah, those little shortcuts can come back to bite you.
They definitely can. And while those short-term wins can feel good, they can be motivating.
Right.
And sometimes they're necessary.
Sure.
The problem is that they can distract you from building a solid foundation for your business.
Like you're not setting yourself up for long-term success.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think about Amazon for a second.
Okay.
They were actually unprofitable for years.
Really?
While they were investing tons of money in building their infrastructure and their delivery network.
Interesting.
They had this long-term vision.
They were playing the long game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they were willing to delay gratification to achieve it.
And now they're like the everything store.
Right. It shows you that a long-term vision can really pay off.
Okay, so that's great in theory, but how do we actually avoid falling into this trap of short-termism?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question.
Because I know I've definitely been guilty of it myself.
Especially in the early days of my business.
Yeah, when you're just trying to get things off the ground.
Well, one of the best ways to combat short-termism is to have a really clear and compelling long-term vision for your business.
Okay, so like that North Star we talked about earlier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That vision becomes your guide.
Your roadmap.
Helping you make decisions that align with your ultimate goals, even when there are tempting short-term opportunities popping up all over the place.
So it's about having the discipline to say, okay, this might bring in some quick cash right now.
Yeah.
But does it really fit into my long-term goals?
That's the question you got to ask yourself.
It's a tough question.
It is. Another helpful strategy is to surround yourself with people who share that long-term perspective.
Oh, okay. So like mentors, advisors.
Yeah. Or even just team members who are aligned with your vision.
They can help keep you on track?
They can provide support and accountability when those short-term pressures start to creep in.
It's like having a built-in support system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to another common distraction that the book talks about.
Okay, what's next?
Overextension.
Overextension?
This one's a classic.
Okay, tell me about it.
Overextension is basically the temptation to expand too quickly.
Grow too fast.
Right? Take on too many projects.
Or try to enter too many markets.
Before you're really ready.
Yeah, it's like that whole biting off more than you can chew thing.
Exactly. And I think this is something that a lot of ambitious entrepreneurs struggle with.
Oh, for sure. We get excited about all the possibilities.
And we want to do it all at once.
Right, yeah.
But as the book points out,
yeah,
overextension can actually lead to you spreading your focus and resources too thin.
You're stretched too thin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You end up trying to do too much, and the quality of your work, your products, your customer service,
it all suffers.
It all suffers as a result.
We've seen this happen time and time again with tech companies.
Oh, yeah.
They get super eager to scale and grow really fast.
And they lose sight of what made them successful in the first place.
They forget their roots.
It's like trying to juggle too many balls at once.
Eventually, you're going to drop something.
And it's going to be a mess.
Okay, so how do we avoid this trap?
How do we find that sweet spot between ambition and sustainable growth?
Yeah, because I think a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with that.
The book has some good advice on this.
Okay, I'm listening.
One key strategy is to really prioritize. And focus on the things that truly move the needle for your business.
Okay, so like the 20% of things that get you 80% of the results.
Exactly. Don't try to be everything to everyone.
Yeah, you can't be all things to all people.
Instead, figure out what your core strengths are.
Okay.
And focus on those areas where you can really excel.
Become the best at what you do.
Exactly. And that means saying no.
Saying no is so hard.
I know, especially when it's a tempting opportunity.
Like a really big potential client or something.
But sometimes saying no is the best way to protect your time and energy and resources.
So it's a form of self-care.
It is. And this ties back to having that clear vision.
Right at our North Star.
When you know where you're going. It becomes much easier to make those tough decisions about what to prioritize and what to let go of.
So you're not wasting time on things that don't matter.
Exactly. The book also talks about the importance of delegation.
Oh, yeah. Bringing in the troops.
As your business grows, you simply can't do everything yourself.
You'll burn out.
You will. So it's crucial to build a strong team.
And trust them.
And trust them to handle certain tasks and responsibilities.
So it's about letting go of some control.
It is.
Yeah.
It's about empowering others to contribute their talents.
And setting your team up for success.
By providing clear expectations, support, and resources.
It's like an eagle teaching its young to fly.
I love that analogy.
It gradually gives them more responsibility and lets them learn from their mistakes.
Exactly. The book also talks about the importance of pacing yourself.
Oh, pacing yourself.
Sustainable growth is a marathon, not a sprint.
Oh, man, that's a good one.
It's a reminder for all of us entrepreneurs who tend to be very driven and impatient.
We always want to go, go, go.
It's about taking the time to build a solid foundation.
Okay.
Establish efficient processes and make sure that your business can scale effectively.
Without burning out your team.
Right, without compromising on quality.
Okay, so let's move on to another distraction that I think a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with.
What's that?
The fear of competition.
Oh, yeah, that can be a big one.
It's that feeling of constantly looking over your shoulder.
Worried about what your competitors are up to.
And maybe even letting their actions dictate your own.
It can be paralyzing.
The book acknowledges that this is a natural instinct.
Especially in today's hyper-competitive business world.
Right. Everyone's vying for attention.
But the book warns that letting fear of competition control you.
It can be really distracting.
And ultimately harmful to your long-term success.
You get stuck in this reactive cycle.
Constantly trying to keep up with or outdo your competitors.
And you lose sight of your own unique strengths and vision.
Exactly. Instead of charting your own course.
You're just reacting to what everyone else is doing.
You're following the crowd.
So how do we break free from that?
Well, the key, as the book suggests, is to shift your focus.
Shift your focus from
your competitors to your own unique value proposition.
What makes you different?
Exactly. What makes your business stand out from the crowd?
What problems are you solving that nobody else is addressing?
Those are the questions you should be asking yourself.
So it's about finding your niche,
honing your craft,
and becoming the best at what you do.
Instead of trying to be everything to everyone.
You can't please everyone.
Now, the book also makes the point that competition isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Oh, really?
It can actually be a powerful motivator for innovation and improvement.
Like it pushes you to be better.
Exactly.
It keeps you on your toes. Forces you to continuously evaluate your offerings.
And find ways to differentiate yourself in the marketplace.
It's like that saying, iron sharpens iron.
I like that.
Having strong competitors can actually make you stronger.
It can. But the key is to use that competitive pressure as fuel.
Fuel for growth.
Not as a source of anxiety or distraction.
So you're learning from your competitors, but not letting them control your actions.
Exactly. Okay, so now for the final distraction that the book highlights.
Okay, bring it on.
And this one, I think, is especially tempting for entrepreneurs, particularly in the early stages.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What is it?
It's the temptation to chase after every single opportunity that comes your way.
Oh, yeah, the shiny object syndrome.
Exactly. It can be so tempting to go after every potential deal, every partnership, every new market.
Especially when you're first starting out and you're eager to grow.
You want to say yes to everything.
You feel like you can't miss out on anything.
But the book cautions against this approach.
Why is that?
Because chasing every opportunity,
yeah,
especially those that aren't aligned with your core focus,
right,
can actually lead to a diluted focus burnout and ultimately a lack of clear direction.
You're spreading yourself too thin.
Exactly. It's like trying to juggle too many projects, too many initiatives, too many clients all at the same time.
You're going to drop something.
You're going to drop something and you're going to get overwhelmed.
So it's about being more strategic about how you grow.
Exactly.
Really?
So how do we develop that discipline?
Yeah. How do we become more discerning?
The book suggests a few key strategies.
Okay, I'm all ears.
First, you need to be crystal clear about your goals and priorities.
Okay, so figure out what's really important.
What are the most important things that you're trying to achieve in your business?
Write it down.
Once you have that clarity,
yeah,
you can use your goals as a filter for evaluating opportunities.
Okay, so like a decision-making framework.
Exactly. Ask yourself.
Okay, what should I ask myself?
Does this opportunity align with my goals?
Okay.
Will it help me move closer to my vision?
Okay.
Or is it just a shiny object that's going to distract me from what really matters?
So it's about having the courage to say no.
Even when it's a really tempting opportunity.
I know, that can be so hard.
It can be, especially for entrepreneurs who are naturally optimistic and opportunity-driven.
We love new possibilities.
But sometimes saying no is the best way to protect your focus and your energy.
It's about being selective.
And focusing your energy on those opportunities that have the greatest potential to really move your business forward.
Not just any opportunity, but the right opportunities.
The book also talks about the importance of being patient.
Oh, patience again.
Not every opportunity is worth pursuing right away.
Sometimes it's better to wait.
Sometimes it's better to wait for the right opportunity to come along.
The one that really aligns with your vision and your goals.
Exactly. Instead of jumping at the first thing that comes your way.
So don't just grab at low-hanging fruit.
And remember, every time you say no to an opportunity that's not a good fit,
Yeah.
you're actually creating space for something even better to come along.
Oh, I like that perspective.
It's about having faith in the abundance of the universe.
Okay, so to recap,
Recap.
we've talked about 4 major distractions that entrepreneurs often face.
What are they?
Short-termism, overextension, fear of competition, and chasing every opportunity.
Those are some big ones.
And we've talked about some practical strategies for avoiding these pitfalls.
I got it.
Like having a clear vision, prioritizing, effectively delegating strategically, and having the courage to say no when we need to.
All great advice.
We've also talked about the importance of building a strong foundation, focusing on your unique value proposition, and using competition as a motivator for growth.
Not letting it scare you.
Exactly. So in the final part of our deep dive,
Yes.
we're going to explore one of the most compelling concepts in the Eagle Entrepreneur,
What's that?
the idea of legacy,
Ooh, legacy.
and what it really means to build a business that leaves a lasting impact.
I can't wait to dive into that.
All right, so welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the Eagle Entrepreneur.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We've talked about vision and focus.
Adaptability and resilience.
There's been some of those pesky distractions that can really trip us up as entrepreneurs.
But there's one big concept we haven't really explored yet.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Legacy.
Legacy. It's a powerful word.
It really is the idea of building something that lasts.
They're creating something that makes a real difference in the world.
It's something that a lot of entrepreneurs really connect with.
I know I do, and I love how the Eagle Entrepreneur talks about legacy. It uses that really strong image of the eagle soaring high above everything.
That symbol of strength and freedom and, longevity.
As a metaphor for the kind of lasting impact that we as entrepreneurs can create.
It's a beautiful image.
The book really emphasizes that building a legacy, it's about a lot more than just making money.
It's bigger than that.
It's about having a positive impact on the world around you.
Making a difference.
So how does the book actually define legacy in the context of business?
Well, it breaks it down into 3 key elements.
Okay, what are they?
Sustainability, innovation, and impact.
Okay, so let's start with sustainability. What does that mean when we're talking about building a legacy?
Well, it's about creating businesses that are environmentally and socially responsible.
Right, so making sure your business is good for the planet and the people.
Exactly. It's about operating in a way that benefits everyone, not just your bottom line.
So it's not just about being green, it's about building a business that's really built to last.
A business that operates with integrity and a deep sense of responsibility.
I love that.
It's about creating something that future generations can be proud of.
Okay, so what about innovation?
Innovation is all about pushing boundaries.
Challenging the status quo.
Constantly looking for ways to improve and create new solutions to make things better.
It's about having that eagle's eye view, right?
Being able to see beyond what's right in front of you and envision a better future.
It's about being a pioneer, a trailblazer.
Someone who's not afraid to take risks and try new things.
Okay, I'm getting inspired.
And that brings us to the third element, impact.
Impact, that's another word that gets thrown around a lot these days.
It does. So it's important to really define what it means in this context.
So what does it mean?
Well, in terms of legacy, impact is about using your business as a platform to make a real difference in the world.
Okay, so it's about action.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that you have the power to create change, to solve problems, to make people's lives better.
It's about that ripple effect.
Creating a business that's a force for good.
So it's about asking yourself, how can I use my business to make a meaningful contribution to society?
That's the question.
I love that. Okay, so the book also talks about some practical things that entrepreneurs can actually do to build this kind of lasting legacy.
It does.
Okay, I'd love to hear about those. What are some tangible steps we can take?
Well, one of the most important things, as we've discussed, is embracing sustainable business practices.
Right, making those choices that are good for the planet.
For the people who work for you and if you.
For the community as a whole.
It's about building a business that reflects your values.
And remember, sustainability, it's not just about doing the right thing, it's also good for business.
Exactly. Consumers are more and more drawn to companies that are socially and environmentally responsible.
It's about building trust and loyalty with your customers.
They're more likely to support businesses that share their values.
So what else can entrepreneurs do to build a legacy?
Well, the book also talks about the importance of mentoring future leaders.
Ah, yes, mentorship. It's so important.
Just like those eagle parents teaching their young to fly.
Entrepreneurs need to invest in developing the next generation of leaders.
It's about sharing your knowledge, your experience, creating opportunities for others to grow.
It's about building a culture of leadership within your company.
A culture of continuous learning and improvement.
And remember, mentorship isn't just about finding someone to take over when you're ready to retire.
It's about empowering others to step up, to contribute their talents, to take ownership, and make their own mark on the business.
So it's about building a team that can carry on your vision even when you're not there.
Exactly.
So to wrap it all up, building a legacy is about so much more than just creating a successful business.
It's about making choices that are good for everyone involved.
It's about innovating and pushing boundaries to make the world a better place.
And it's about inspiring and empowering others to carry on that vision.
The Eagle Entrepreneur really reminds us that the journey of being an entrepreneur, it's a lot like the flight of an eagle.
It's about more than just reaching a destination.
It's about the journey itself, the challenges, the lessons, the people you meet along the way.
It's about soaring to new heights, embracing the winds of change.
And leaving behind a legacy that inspires others to spread their wings and fly.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with this one question.
What kind of legacy do you want to build?
What mark do you want to leave on the world?
Take some time to really think about that.
And then go out there and make it happen.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the Eagle Entrepreneur.
We hope you found it insightful and inspiring.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep soaring to new heights.